Kazakhstan has chosen the multi-vector integration. Its trends, collisions, and prospects are coming up in the Single Market Program.
Hello, my name is Pavel Koktышев, and you're watching Single Markets. If we roughly outline the story of the Eurasian Economic Union, then the first page of its history should be dedicated to a symbolic event which determined the fate of the Integration Union, the 29th of May 2014. On this day, the document and the creation of the Eurasian Economic Union was signed in the capital of Kazakhstan. Today, we have an opportunity to look back over the 3-year period and remember how everything started, and at the same time talk about the realities and prospects of the economic union. Any form of integration entails a lengthy and step-by-step process. The Eurasian Economic Union is not an exception. First, the informal CIS was established on the post-Soviet space, the Commonwealth of Independent States. Then the Eurasian Economic Community was inaugurated. Then the Customs Union was formed. And the peak of economic integration became the Eurasian Economic Union. By the way, the agreement on its creation was signed in the capital of Kazakhstan, Astana. And this was not just a random decision. January 1st of 2015. This is the date of the launch of the Eurasian Economic Union. But this project started practically 20 years ago. Back in 1994, Nursultan Nazarbayev offered to create the Eurasian Union, and we gradually moved towards this. The fact that the new alliance will be composed of 5 states, Russia, Kazakhstan, Belarus, Armenia, and Kyrgyzstan, was known from the start. But factually, the fate of the union was decided by the presidents Putin, Nazarbayev, and Lukashenko, who on May 29th of 2014 signed the historical agreement in Astana. A new economic organization will appear on the global arena, which will possess full international legal standing and will function based on the principles of the World Trade Organization. Its total population, 170 million people, which ranks it 7th in the world. This is one of the biggest consumer markets on the planet. Together, the member countries possess around 1/4 of the world's raw materials. We are ready to gradually move along the path of complete realization of all agreements that were reached during a very challenging negotiation process. The commencement of the work of the Integration Union was also quite challenging, and this concerned not just the transition period. The launch of the Eurasian Economic Union, due to an unfortunate turn of events, coincided with a whole array of global problems. And the subsequent volatility of national currencies, which followed the fall of stock prices, worsened the situation. By the way, the lack of coordination of activities of national banks of the Eurasian Five can be seen as one of the first lessons of integration. A large share of trade turnover is conducted using the Russian rubles, and when the main currency started fluctuating so much, all the participants just started to panic. According to the end of 2015 results, the volume of trade turnover across the Eurasian Economic Union diminished by 25.5%. But a remark must be made. This number reflects the monetary value, and in real volume the decline was 7.5%. In any case, the rate of decrease of foreign trade, which is happening beyond the customs union, is much higher than mutual trade. That is why, even though this is a negative dynamic, nevertheless it speaks to the fact that we're still maintaining our level of trade turnover better than we would have separately. In 2016, the fall in the volume of mutual trade slowed down and remained at the level of -6.7%, and the first quarter of 2017 even exhibited a hopeful dynamic. The statistics for the beginning of 2017 are especially a source of optimism. According to the results of the first months of this year, the volume of foreign trade of the Eurasian Economic Union rose by 37% and mutual trade by 38%. Of course, an objective analysis would reveal a lot of problems which the member countries of the Eurasian Alliance are facing today. These are barriers impeding the movement of goods and services, lobbying in the interests of one of the parties when conducting state orders, monopoly collusions in the form of a cartel agreement, and etc. But all these conflict-causing situations can be contested with the relevant authorities. For example, economic conflicts that arise between enterprises are resolved through the court of the Eurasian Economic Union. In order to avoid the lengthy bureaucratic delays, the agreement has a provision stipulating the right of business entities to appeal to the Eurasian Economic Union Court directly without the requirement that one must first go through all the appeal bodies on the national level. Cases of when the conditions of movement of goods, services and capital or fair competition practices are violated are considered by the Eurasian Economic Commission.
Евразийская экономическая комиссия работает над тем, чтобы на всем пространстве.
The Eurasian Economic Commission is working on ensuring unified and comfortable regulatory and administrative procedures for everyone to remove trade barriers and limitations.
Административные процедуры. Снять торговые барьеры и ограничения.
Concerning competition on foreign markets, this should be regulated by the entrepreneurs of the integration union themselves. They must reach agreements among themselves, join alliances in order to resolve problems while communicating directly with each other. I always cite Jacques Delors, who said that integration is like riding a bike. If you stop pedaling, you fall. That is why if we stop in the integration process and do not continue perfecting it, then we will not get the results. 3 years have passed from the moment when in Astana the idea of creation of the Eurasian Economic Union became more concrete. Over this period, the Union of 3 turned into a Union of 5. And from April of this year, Moldova will have the status of observer. In the prospective future, the country may become the 6th member of the Eurasian Economic Union. The most anticipated event of 2017 is the coming into force of the new customs code. This code will become the first wide-scale document which will regulate the customs rules of the Eurasian Economic Union. That is why the business community of the Integration Union associate big hopes with it. Maria Kuznetsova, Anatoly Valuysky, exclusively for Single Market. Globalization. Today, this process encompasses the most diverse spheres of the economy and social life, including the financial sphere. More than half of the world's stock market operations take place in just 3 cities of the world: London, New York, and Tokyo. And the phenomenon of concentration of financial operations within international and regional financial centers is becoming more frequent each year. Who is who in the list of the ranks of such financial centers? Alexander Galiev brings us the report. This time I'm not going to follow the usual order of the Navigator report and will commence the analysis of the Global Financial Centers Index rating from the 10th place. Here we have Toronto, Canada's largest city and the administrative center of the Ontario province. Further on, the 3 following positions are occupied by U.S. cities. In 9th place we have Boston. This metropolis is located in the state of Massachusetts and it is considered to be the largest city of the region, which is known as New England. In 8th place, San Francisco. Its economy has grown rapidly after the establishment of the Silicon Valley and its agglomeration. Thanks to this project, high-tech companies appeared here and large investments started flowing in. In the 7th place of the hierarchy of financial centers of the world is the U.S. capital city. The role of Washington's economy is determined first and foremost by its engagement in the sphere of public administration and provision of international-level banking services. Zurich is ranked 6th. The financial center is one of the most profitable sectors of Switzerland's economy. In Zurich alone, around 208,000 people are employed in this sector. In 5th place, we have the capital of Japan. The main bargaining chips of Tokyo is the large volume of currency and stock exchange operations and an impressive volume of various stocks that are traded on the stock exchange. In 4th place among financial centers, we have Hong Kong. This metropolis bears the status of a special administrative district of China and is considered to be one of the leading financial centers not just in Asia, but across the globe. Let us now turn to the top 3 leaders. In 3rd place, Singapore. This city-state attracts investors from all across the world with its low tax rates. By the way, there are only 5 types of taxes in Singapore. The second position in the ranking among the world's biggest financial centers, New York. United States' largest metropolis is also the city which hosts the world's biggest stock markets. There are such symbolic entities like the New York Stock Exchange, NASDAQ, the American Stock Exchange, and the New York Stock Exchange. And it is worth mentioning that this is where the Wall Street is, a street that is associated with an active business environment.
Улица, которая у всех ассоциируется с активной деловой жизнью. На первом месте Лондон.
In 1st place, London. Approximately 80% of investment and banking operations, directly or indirectly, pass through the British capital. However, some experts believe that the Brexit may substantially weaken London's position and the city will have to relinquish its leadership to another contender. And first in line is New York. We shall not speculate, time will show.
Нью-Йорку. Гадать не будем, поживем увидим. И вместо резюме.
And instead of a summary, in the long-term perspective, it would be very nice to see Kazakhstan's capital among the world's largest financial centers. Already today, some experts from the West deem the project International Financial Center Astana as one of the most anticipated events on a regional scale. And there are reasons for this forecast. The future financial center has a lot of advantages: unique architecture, which it will inherit from the International Expo exhibition, an international status backed by English law, and a setting of English as the official language of clerical correspondence. Then there are the tax incentives and an independent financial court. And finally, the optimal geographic location. In the youngest and most promising capital of the world, at the crossroads where business interests of the Central Asian region, China, the Eurasian Economic Union, and Europe meet. Therefore, the International Financial Center Astana can be seen as a response to the demand that is being established in today's world. That's all from me. Until next time on Single Market.
Программе «Рынок без границ».
The International Center of Cross-Border Cooperation, Khorgos. This project became possible due to the initiative of the leaders of Kazakhstan and China. This international center is a mini-town of its own kind, which has everything that allows for convenient communication between entrepreneurs of both countries for shopping, banking services, and hotel services. Our correspondent Oleg Boldarev brings us all the details. The International Center of Cross-Border Cooperation, Khorgos, is a project that is being realized thanks to the initiative of Presidents Nursultan Nazarbayev and Xi Jinping. By the way, the idea of this project is unique. The residents of the two neighboring countries, average citizens and entrepreneurs, have access to this territory without the need for a visa. With just a passport, they can come here, conduct business and trade negotiations, conclude agreements, and even just relax. The International Center of Cross-Border Cooperation, an entity that is usually marked by the abbreviation ICBC, is located not far from the Altenkol station and the Special Economic Zone, Khorgos Eastern Gates. In itself, it is a mini-city where preferential rules of crossing the border and conduct of business activities are in place. This center is a unique opportunity for businesses in terms of entering China's retail market. So we're actually next to a market with tens of millions of people, a walking distance from the international center. The near-border status of this entity is marked symbolically with the gates. The border between Kazakhstan and China is marked on the territory of the center with a wide two-colored line. The red one marks China and the blue Kazakhstan. For the tourists of both countries, this is a symbolic place where often people make photo and video shoots. The main visitors of the International Center are so-called shopping tourists. These are people who arrive to Khorgos in the early morning and throughout the day go on an excursion, go shopping, relax in a cafe, and return home in the late evening. Daily from both countries, around 10,000 people visit the center. This number can be confidently multiplied by 3. There is the necessary throughput capacity, which will allow the center, in the upcoming 4 to 5 years, within the framework of the existing infrastructure, to have that many tourists. The daily total volume of goods that shopping tourists leave with from the center reaches 30 tons. At the same time, most of the people and volume of cargo are destined for China. The explanation is simple. This is a duty-free zone, and therefore goods can be purchased for optimal prices. At the same time, the range of choices is quite diverse. Aside from products from China, the stores located on the territory of the International Center have products from Japan, Vietnam, and South Korea. The International Center of Cross-Border Cooperation is not just a place for shopping, but also for hosting conferences, forums, seminars, and business meetings with the participation of specialists and entrepreneurs of Kazakhstan and China. China's citizens, not just from the Xinjiang Autonomous District, can visit the International Center without a visa, but also citizens from more distant regions. This is especially advantageous for business people because they can conduct negotiations here in person with their colleagues from Kazakhstan. With the completion of construction of Kazakhstan's part of the project, the program that the International Center has to offer will expand substantially. Guests will be able to combine business with pleasure, go shopping, conclude a business agreement with a partner, and go on an excursion to the City of Artisans to find out more about Kazakhstan's culture. Oleg Boldarev, Bahjan Bakhriyev, Khorgos, exclusively for Single Market.
Сегодня каждая страна, которая переживает...
Today, every country that is going through its formative stage is ready to offer some spheres of its industry to anchor companies. This is quite logical. Companies of this level bring with them not just large investments, but also modern technologies for production, management, and promotion of their products. Our correspondent Elmira Negreeva will tell us more about one of such bright examples.
In the spring
of 2015, Kazakhstan developed its step-by-step plans, which should provide an impulse for the development of the country. Among resources from which the country's economy will be drawing new energies are anchor companies. At the same time, the spheres of the economy to which the arrival of such companies is more desirable were also determined: the agricultural industrial complex and the food industry. Literally in just a number of months, in that same 2015, as if in response to this, the Russian group of companies EFCO announced its idea to form a fat and oil cluster on the territory of Kazakhstan. The project proposes the creation of a closed production cycle, from field to raw materials processing, production and sales. Over the period of the last couple of years, we've been actively considering the possibility of building up our own production capacities in producing fat and oil products on the territory of Kazakhstan. Such an opportunity came up in 2015.
В 2015 году такая возможность появилась.
From the dossier of the investor, the EFCO group of companies, processing of oil cultures, production of sunflower oil, special fats, mayonnaise, ketchup and fodder, is one of Russia's 3 biggest agro-industrial producers, the leader in the oil and fat product sector of the Eurasian Economic Union countries, exports to more than 40 countries of the world, and the Black Sea port Taman ensures the optimal logistics. In order to optimize Kazakhstan's project, the Russian company purchased an old plant in Almaty and commenced the first stage of using its investments, realization and modernization of the enterprise. The presentation of the project happened in June of last year. With the use of a live teleconference, with the participation of the country's president, the production line for the pre-packaging of sunflower oil was launched. Today, the plant complex can process 450 tons of soy daily, can produce 100 tons of margarine and industrial fats, and 140 tons of bottled oil. The realization of the project is following the set calendar timeline. In the third quarter of this year, we're hoping to complete the reconstruction and modernization. The newest production lines of the Swedish company Alfa Laval, which are operated by computer programs, guarantee the strictest compliance with all the requirements of the technological process. In addition, the enterprise has its own well-equipped laboratory. All the necessary technological parameters are controlled through laboratory tests and are compared with indicators that we get directly from the technological equipment. The appearance of an anchor company, which in a short period of time can manage large industrial volumes, is already showing tangible results. Concerning fats and margarine, we're already ready to satisfy 100% of Kazakhstan's demands. Concerning sunflower oil, the full potential of the enterprise has not been realized yet, and the problem is in the absence of a stable raw materials base in the country. In order to resolve it, the company is planning to create a network of service and preparation centers by attracting for cooperation the farmers of the Almaty, Zhambul, and East Kazakhstan regions, which cultivate oil cultures. The high quality of the products, optimal price, and an impeccable reputation of the anchor company have opened up windows of export opportunities for Kazakhstan's enterprise to countries such as Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Iran. What's more, supply channels to external markets have been developed for the entire range of products, including fodder pellets. In terms of further development of the export potential, big hopes are tied with China. The country presents big prospects due to the presence of optimal logistics, especially within the framework of the Silk Road economic belt. In addition, China's market is attractive in terms of the potential of high consumer demand. When everything is going according to a set plan, it is customary to say that it is running like clockwork. We hope that for this enterprise, this will be the case as well, because from the very start, they're aiming for efficiency, development, and leadership positions in their respective sector. Elmira Negreeva, Anatoly Valuysky, Almaty, exclusively for Single Market. That's all for today. My name is Pavel Koktyshev. Kind reminder, all the episodes of our program are available on www.kazakh-tv.kz. Until next time on Single Market.